Hey, good morning, guys, and welcome to day 4 of our first week of our Gospel of Luke daily Bible devotion. And super excited to get into it. And we've been going through the last 3 days the idea of how Zechariah, the husband of Elizabeth, was visited by an angel and was told that Elizabeth, in her barrenness or incapability of having a child, will be pregnant, right? Miracle, right? And then Mary is visited by an angel and is told that she too will be pregnant. The only difference is that she will not be experiencing the intimacy with her husband or her to-be husband, but God will, in a sense, plant or put the baby Jesus inside of her womb. And we're going through the idea of how we respond when we're given promises and how we respond when those promises come to become a reality. Today we're going to jump into the idea, and the question that I want to ask is, how are your answered prayers, or how are your blessings, or how are the things that God has given you or answered you, and how are they glorifying God? And before we jump in, I just want to encourage you guys, subscribe down below. Click the alert button so that you get notifications every time we post a new video. We're doing these videos every single weekday. It's a way to encourage you to get into the Bible. Hopefully on your car ride or just you're sitting at work, you can kind of turn this on and see what God is speaking to you from me to you. And so I love you, super excited for you to have that and to be here with us. So let's just jump on in. We're going to be in Luke 1, verses 57 to 66. When it was time for Elizabeth to have her baby, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives saw that the Lord had shown her great mercy, and they shared her joy. On the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him after his father, Zechariah. But his mother spoke up and said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "There is no one among your relatives who has that name." Then they made signs to his father to find out what he would like to name the child. He asked for a writing tablet, and to everyone's astonishment he wrote, "His name is John." Immediately his mouth was open and his tongue was loosed, and he began to speak, praising God. The neighbors were all filled with awe, and throughout the hill country of Judea people were talking about these things. Everyone who heard this wondered about it, asking, "What then is this child going to be?" For the Lord's hand was with him. And so guys, as we're kind of jumping into this, one of the cool things is that John was the answer to Zechariah and Elizabeth's prayers, that they were seeking to have a child, but they were old in age and Elizabeth was barren. And so two things going against them in the sense of how they wanted to have a child. And so I proposed a question in the beginning: how do your answered prayers, how did they respond to glorify God? Well, how amazing is it that in this time, remember that when Zechariah met the angel Gabriel, that his mouth was closed. He was a mute. He was incapable of speaking because he doubted God's words that he would have a child, right? So the entire 9 months of the pregnancy of his wife Elizabeth, he couldn't speak. But how cool is it that once John, which ends up being John the Baptist, they call him, when John was born, and Zechariah has the opportunity, he writes down and he speaks, his name is John. And how amazing is it that as soon as he says that, his mouth opens and then he rejoices and praises God. And so what it was obviously it was a glorification to God from his innermost being, from his heart, his mind, to God. But what did the people see around him, right? The people saw that this man, Zechariah, who was a priest of God, right? He was, I think, very highly looked upon in his community. But Zechariah, after this time of being mute, he sits there and he's praising God for the gift of his son John. That this impossibility became a possibility because God is the God of miracles, right? How amazing is that? And then the people around him are looking at it and they're saying, who is this child? What is he going to be? Because they could see that the hand of God was upon this child and upon Zechariah and Elizabeth. And so, as I said earlier on, and I kind of just want to reiterate it now, how is our answered prayers, how is our blessings, how are the things that God has given us, how have they and how have we brought glory to God through them and with them? And I just want to encourage you guys that maybe you have gone through something where you've just had an answered prayer, that you would keep rejoicing God. And when people ask, that it wouldn't just be a simple, yeah, everything's good now. It would be a testament to God and His goodness, that He does know exactly what we need, and He delivers in the right time. So I love you guys. I hope you're encouraged by that. And we will be doing the last verses of chapter 1 tomorrow as we jump into Friday. And just excited because we get to see, just as we talked about Mary, and Mary had a time of really praising God for the gift of her being pregnant with Jesus, that tomorrow we get to see Zechariah, the priest and the father of John, the husband of Elizabeth, and how he responds and thanks God. And I'm super excited to get into it tomorrow. So as always, guys, just want you to subscribe below and click the alert button for all notifications. And we're excited because there are some things coming. There's some courses we're going to be opening up, and we're just getting started, guys. And I love you. Hope you have an amazing Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for the last day of the week.